Welcome back to the Wrestling Aroundup, where there's just two of us this week. Ross is on his honeymoon, well planned, and Terry has just got back from his holiday, which you would think would mean he'd be here, but no, apparently that means he can't arrive. But I do have a world class wrestling journalist and Aaron Franklin. Aaron, thanks for joining me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Good to be on the show again.
Yeah. Ever present, Lou.
Ever present, yeah. Can't introduce myself this week, but that's it's a shame. I could do really, but that'd be a bit egotistical, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit BBC News, that one.
Yeah, if I just hype myself up and also joining is me. I can't remember fucking. Never mind. Scoop L is here as well. What is it?
It's Terry Pete, isn't it?
Well renowned, ever present, wonderful Scoop L. There we go, Scoop L. Here with the week's wrestling news. Now, it's been a bit of a quiet week in the world of wrestling news. Obviously, there's been big news elsewhere. But I think what we'll start with, I was going to start with Logan Paul, but I guess it's just broke today, so we'll start with it. Triple H has done an interview with The Ringer, and he's announced that Survivor Series this year in Boston will be Survivor Series WarGames. And perhaps the most exciting part of this is that it's no longer the fight for brand supremacy. They're going to have actual storylines, which I think is a nice little touch. But what are your thoughts, Aaron, on WarGames coming to the main roster for the first time?
It's about time, isn't it? I mean, and to put it in at Survivor Series just makes sense. You know, we've been saying for years, haven't we, that Survivor Series brand v brand just doesn't work because they're not the brand splits usually the month before, and you've got no build there. If you can put a War Games on and put faction against faction or a team of people where what they're going to do is build a storyline there. It just makes sense. And War Games is brilliant.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it's kind of something that Triple H has apparently wanted to do for years, hasn't it? I mean, there's been reports. I guess he finally got his wish in NXT, but it's something he's talked about wanting to do for years on the main roster as well.
Yeah, still, I mean, it's one of the one match types in WCW that we always look forward to reviewing.
Yeah,
and now we know we're going to get some modern era main roster War Games. I think it's good for business, isn't it?
It's really good for business, and I think it now makes a lot of sense why he's extended the bloodline to 5 people recently. So you got Solo Sikoa joining Sami Zayn, the Usos, and Roman. If they're doing a traditional 5-on-5, I'm assuming they're one of the teams, right? And that's kind of you can't have a dominant faction like this and not include them in War Games, right?
They've got to. Apparently, there's two War Games matches going on at Survivor Series, isn't there?
Yes, there's a men's and a women's.
I'm interested to see how they build to the women's. So obviously it's gonna be Bayley, Dakota, and Io Rai, isn't it? That's the 3 we need to go in there. But between now and November, are they going to recruit a couple more people?
I was going to say it maybe looks that way, or they'll just do what they normally do and just stick Tamina and Natalya in there just to make up the numbers. But you would think that's the way it's going. Shotzi turned face on SmackDown this week and teamed with Raquel.
Right.
Raquel Rodriguez. Made the save when Damage Control were beating up on her because Leah's out of action apparently.
I mean that the easiest thing to do and the most logical sense to go down, because I've already started building to it, is you take a title off Bianca, put it on Bayley, because Bayley's so over, as we saw at Clash at the Castle. You've got your storyline there, and then Bianca can just build a bit of a team around her.
Yeah, that's it. And then obviously we've got Ronda and Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
Who's the heel? Is Ronda the heel?
Ronda's the
heel. Could she be teaming with Bayley's team? Are they going to do kind of like smash 2 feuds into one on that side of things?
They could do, couldn't they? That's a good way of doing it. I would like to see them build the faction up a little bit with Bayley though.
Yeah, put some muscle in there, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh, somewhere also NXT actually, because there's not that many women on the roster. You got to assume Becky Lynch isn't back in time.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be too much longer before they bring Mandy Rose back up to main roster. She's been in NXT for well over a year now because she's held the title for over a year, hasn't she?
Yes, and side note, she just got engaged to Tina Sabatelli.
She did. Yeah, so congratulations.
Also, congratulations to the future Mr. and Mrs. Sabatelli. Tony Khan is fuming. Not because he fancies Mandy Rose, just because Sabatelli was apparently the guy who leaked all the AEW results that time, according to Chris Jericho. But yeah, I think looking at the interview that Triple H did with the Ringer, it looks like it's going to be NXT style WarGames. So it looks like there's going to be no roof. But hopefully, and he keeps talking about how 5-on-5, and it's just a continuation of that. So
yeah, I'm not averse. I'm not averse to it not having a roof.
Yeah, he basically said there was a spot with I think we covered it. Might have been Wrestle War 91 something. There's a spot with Pillman where Sid brings him up for the powerbomb. Sid is too fucking tall for the cage. Like legit shoot hits him on the roof and knocks him out. So I think that was kind of one of his main reasons he said for not doing it. And you just get a lot of spectacular spots, don't you? There's going to be someone jumping off the cage, obviously someone throwing off it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of modern wrestling.
Yeah, because then what Triple H can do, because this is good business sense, and I know he listens. So Triple H, bring back Tower of Doom.
Yes.
What about WarGames? Bring back Tower of Doom.
Yeah, it's got to be next, right? That's the logical next progression, right? He's brought back WarGames, Tower of Doom.
Yeah.
Fuck off the Royal Rumble. World War III come in January. That's what I want to see.
AEW could legit do that though, because
they've got that many people. Yeah,
yeah, they could.
But the thing is, like, what would they do with the other half of the roster if they were doing a 60-man?
Very true. Yeah,
they'd really struggle to run in. But yeah, I think there's a lot of like we've got NXT Halloween Havoc coming up as its own takeover event later in the year as well. We've got WarGames coming back. Like, I feel like I'm quite excited. As a big WCW fans, as us two are in particular, and this podcast by extension. Obviously, Ross and Terry under protest, but all four of us being big WCW fans. It's quite an exciting time. Like that he's bringing back all of these, all WCW events, WCW matches. We could see the Tower of Doom.
Yeah.
Pre-ring battle royal. What else would you bring back from WCW?
Pole matches. On a pole.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be top of my list.
Yeah, I think we need to bring back that one where you didn't know what you were getting. There was 4 poles.
And
I think they did it in TNA as well because it was a Russo special where you open the box and it's either like you could get a world championship or you could get fired. Or I think like Booker T got a frame picture of Scott Hall one time. I think it was called like a San Francisco 49ers match, which didn't make any sense. But yeah, that's the kind of sort of thing I would bring back, the craziness of it all. And obviously some like WCW legends, like Ralph Sulla, he might be dead. I think
he is dead.
Rest in peace. But you know, those guys.
I mean, they've got some of them under contract. Like Norman Smiley's still under contract with Developmental.
Yes. Do you know what I would legitimately like to see? And I'm not even joking about this now. Do you know when they used to do the old school Raws? Like, not the last kind of SmackDown one where they just put up the old graphics and everything's exactly the same, but when they used to kind of like use the old set and everything the same, I feel like they should bring back Nitro for one night only. At some point, like on some sort of anniversary. I don't know.
They did that on the most recent wrestling game, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, when they bring it back and like there's the whole storyline with Kevin Nash?
Yeah.
Commissioner or something? Yeah. But I feel like they should do that for like one night only. Is bring back like, you know, next time in Atlanta, something like that. Just have it like a throwback edition and make it like the old school like Nitro from like 97, like the classic Nitro that we all remember, not the Cat's Bumhole one, as Bischoff calls it. The end, like legit quote from Bischoff there, calling it the Cat's Bumhole. But or just do it the one in Spring Break by a pool.
Yeah,
have Nitro. I'm sure that would work well in 2022, 2023.
I'll tell you what, I know we say this in near every news show now, but it's just an exciting time to be a WWE fan. I mean, you've even got all the WWE marks now. We're saying, oh yeah, I'm excited to watch WWE. Like, good things are happening. So, I mean, if you've got the marks of the products saying that they're excited. They're doing something right. We know they're doing something right.
And that's it. We saw like our old pal, friend of the show, Sidgwick, say that he thinks WWE rules now. I'm sure he's been sarcastic, but I'm taking it. But it is just generally exciting. Like I saw this interview today. I saw the headline, and I thought it was kind of fake. At first, I thought it was just gonna get like someone just dreaming for something what they really want Triple H to do. So I was like, fucking hell, yeah, it's actually true, and it's actually happening. Like we're actually getting main roster WarGames 21 years after the last kind of like main roster, as it were. It'll be longer than that, right? The last legitimate one was like 98, I think. If you don't include WarGames 2000, which obviously we should, because that was great. But if you don't include that, it's been 24 years since we had the last WarGames match on like a national company. So all pretty exciting stuff. What I want to know is though, and this is really me just being an absolute nerd, and I'm glad Ross in here to call me boring again. I'm sure Survivor Series is already sold out. So what the hell do they do with the people who bought the front row seats? Because they're just like, we've got to fit 2 rings in there. You have to do some shenanigans down at the bottom there to get those people in.
I suppose if the arena's a bit like Clash, where they had kind of like a lot of empty space, didn't they?
Yeah,
they'll just
pull everyone back.
Spread it out a bit. Yeah. But, well, I don't know. I don't know what arena. What arena is it?
It's at the TD Garden in Boston, I believe. So it's an ice hockey arena.
Yeah, it's a fairly big arena then.
But yeah, it holds. I nearly got up there. I was nearly looking like a full. It can hold up to 20,000. So
okay.
Obviously not as big as Clash at the Castle, but there aren't many that are these.
No, well, it's not one of the big four, is it? Anyway, so
yeah, but it will. It should be good. Looking forward to it. And it's on a Saturday night as well, which is even better. So no doubt we'll be doing a review of that. And then the big news that I thought I was going to talk about, which is weird news. WWE held a press conference in Vegas this Saturday just gone. And let's make no bones about it. It's very boxing-like, very UFC-like, very, very Logan Paul-like, which is good because he was in it. Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns is your main event for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia on November the 5th. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this?
I liked this whole setup. This makes it feel like a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan Paul is probably not that of a big deal in the wrestling world. Hence why they've chosen to do it in this way of doing it like a boxing conference.
Yeah.
It does make it feel like and Roman Reigns was spectacular on the mic. And I'm the biggest person over the last few years to say Roman is shit on the mic. However, it seems like he's been taking some lessons from Paul Heyman. Yeah. And he is very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. He was actually on Logan Paul's podcast the day before the press conference, or like the Thursday or something before SmackDown, I think, because he was on SmackDown Day. And he was saying that he feels confident enough now that when he gets a shit line given to him, he can say, no, that's shit. Was where he didn't back in the day, obviously, the whole suffering succotash. He said, like, I've done 3 years of the best work of any wrestler ever. And all that people say to him is fucking suffering succotash. And he's like, never again. Will I say something like that? So, but that makes it even worse. So, like, he knew it was awful, but he didn't feel like he could say anything at the time. He probably could have done. He was already in the main event slot. But yeah, apparently he feels confident enough now to if he doesn't like what's written for him, he'll write it himself.
Yeah. I mean, just back on it. I mean, we know what the outcome's going to be. It is just kind of on the road to WrestleMania more than anything to see what kind of happens. We know Logan can go in the ring.
Yeah.
We know he's very good in the ring. I am quite excited to see the match, to be honest, just to see what he can do with someone who's not that athletic. So far, he's been in the ring with the more athletic guys in WWE, and now he's out there with a brawler, the best way to put it, to see what he can actually do.
Yeah, it's just going to have to be selling, I think, isn't it? It's going to do a lot of in this match, you would assume. The way the pitching is almost like he doesn't have a chance, but also what if he does? And I think that's the kind of way I'm looking at it as well, is that if Vince was here, I'd be more concerned about the result. I think I'd be thinking, fucking hell, they're actually going to put the belt on Logan. Whereas now I feel like it's more just to get his fans feeling like that. And it's like, why did the press conference? Because his fans won't be watching Raw and SmackDown, you'd think, on a weekly basis.
No, but
But if he's tweeting that, they're going, hang on a minute. Because they've already seen him go against Floyd Mayweather and some of the boxers or jobbers in the boxing world. I'm sure Russell will tell us when he's back next week. But they'll just see it as any other fight, right? So they're gonna it's on Peacock, they're gonna sign up to that. It's gonna get a lot of eyes on the product. And also, if you're boxing fans, you I know wrestling fans have this kind of issue with the Saudi Arabian shows, but every other sporting event is there. So if you're getting casual fans, I don't think they give a fuck. So any wrestling fans that you're losing, for that reason, I think you'll probably pick up more in casual fans who are just tuning to see what the hell Logan Paul's got himself up to next.
I mean, what's going to be interesting is the Usos are still not allowed out of the US.
Yes.
However, obviously, Sokoa is. So I'd imagine he's going to get involved at some point. Heyman's back now, so I'd imagine Heyman will be across there.
Yeah, and Sami Zayn probably won't be because of his Iranian roots. He doesn't go to the Saudi Arabian shows.
Right, okay.
Because he's half Iranian, or he's got some Iranian heritage.
Right.
So he's not allowed to go to... Well, I don't think he's not allowed, but they don't want the incident, so he just doesn't go to the Saudi Arabian shows.
So it's probably just Heyman and Sokoa then who are going to be at ringside.
Yeah.
So not that much interaction from the outside, potentially.
Yeah, so there won't be too much of a schmoz, this thing, because that's what you would think Logan needs. Like, he's had a lot of... Obviously, his first match was a tag match, and even his singles match last time was a lot of interference.
Yeah.
And a lot going on around the ring. But he's not going to get any of that this time. It's going to be almost a straight-up wrestling match, I think.
But is Tyson Fury going to be ringside again? So he tends to go to the Saudi shows.
Possibly.
Is he going to get involved again?
Yeah, he may do. Although I think he's got a fight with, again, we need boxing expert Steve Bunn / Ross Markham on the show. I think he's got a fight in December now with Anthony Joshua. So I don't think we'll see him on WWE TV just in the build, because I'll be about a month out to it. So I think we might not see him until next year now. But that's just a hunch on my side if this Joshua match actually gets announced. Which is also going to be at Cardiff apparently in the same stadium. Okay. But I'm just thinking out loud now. This is getting reminiscent for me of Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Are we going to see it Bloodline versus Team Logan Paul in WarGames to tie these two storylines up together? That wasn't the way I was thinking. I was thinking it'd be kind of a Kevin Owens or Drew McIntyre led team.
Well, you could still see that because he could go to and recruit people like Drew.
Yeah. But
Drew obviously wants some revenge from Clash at the Castle.
Yeah. And then eventually, hopefully in that match, Logan Paul will turn heel and set up a match, because I don't think it's working with him as a face at the moment. I don't even know if the Saudi Arabia population know who Logan Paul is, so it's going to be interesting, but I guess they don't care.
No, they'll just buy tickets no matter what, won't they?
Yeah, it's at a smaller stadium as well this time than it has been in the past.
Be interesting to see what legends they bring back for that show.
Yeah. Do you think they'll do the usual kind of like get Hulk Hogan out the way, his one appearance? Ric Flair, those kind of guys?
Yeah, I think they will, because Trips has already said on it, you don't want to bring people back like Goldberg and the part-timers. I think Brock may make an appearance. Don't know what he's got going on. Obviously, he's been away from WWE for a couple of months now.
He's next advertised for day one on January 1st.
Okay,
but he may appear before then. Because obviously, if he's already advertised for that one, you'd think they'd want to kind of give him a surprise return.
Yeah, just come in, destroy someone, and set a match up for January.
Yeah. I've decided I want to see Brock versus Gunther at some point. Preferably WrestleMania now, I think.
That would be a good match.
Having Brock challenge for the Intercontinental Championship would be weird. But
I think I would personally like Gunther to drop the Intercontinental title before WrestleMania, get him in a title picture.
Yeah, I think it needs to be in a big match.
That'll happen.
Yeah, I think he either needs to be in a big match with the Intercontinental Championship that he wins, or he needs to be kind of like drop it so they can do like an 8-man ladder match or whatever, the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I'll tell you what I would not be adverse to is Gunther v Sheamus again, and have him drop the title to Sheamus, and then put him on a main event run after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then you have it bang of a match, and also you get Sheamus being the ultimate Grand Slam champion as well, which is probably he's really popular right now.
Yeah,
Sheamus like that. I thought he'd just be face for the Cardiff match, but it appears that the Brawling Brutes are a face for the long haul now.
yeah. Well, I'm not averse to it. They just need to obviously bring Pete Dunne back as Pete Dunne rather than Butch.
He's so close now. Watching SmackDown on Friday, he looks like Pete Dunne, basically, and then they started referring to him as a former NXT Tag Team Champion as well.
Right.
So they're obviously acknowledging his background now. But they're not quite there. I think when he mentioned he's like one of the, because Gunther was there as well. If they just said something like, "Oh, both former UK champions," then he's Pete Dunne at that point, isn't he? But they're not quite there with it. But shout out to the woman who had a sign that said "I love Butch" in the crowd. They got on TV all night because I don't think Kevin Dunn got the joke. Yeah, it was great. We should switch across to AEW briefly. Obviously, last week we talked on the extended news show about the AEW title tournament. All of our plans got out the window. I think you were back in Jericho for a win. I was back in Sammy Guevara. So obviously it's Danielson versus Moxley in the final. A Grand Slam this Wednesday coming up. So a big week of wrestling for AEW. We should also mention that AEW got the highest ratings in over a year. This Wednesday just gone as well. So for all the talk about them kind of falling off, the TV numbers are not suggesting that at the moment. But what would you think of Danielson versus Moxley, and who do you book to win with just these two in the title picture?
I think the logical answer is Danielson.
Yes.
Mox has been in the title picture too much, and I mean his last reign was 2 weeks before he dropped it against CM Punk.
I think it was 3 days, wasn't it? I think it was the Wednesday before. Oh yeah, 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I think it was the Wednesday before.
So obviously, their intentions at that point were not to keep the title on Moxley. So why would you put the title on Moxley again? Just let him go off and have his 6 weeks holiday, whatever he was planning on doing. Put the title on Danielson, see if it does anything for the product. Don't think it will. But see, it seems to be kind of the answer to the problem that is CM Punk. WWE put the title on him after he left there. Ring of Honor put the title on him after the CM Punk left there. So it does seem that the logical route to go down. But
maybe that's Danielson's career path from this point on. Just follow CM Punk wherever he goes, and
clearing up the shit,
pick up the pieces afterwards.
But I mean, I'm not averse to seeing him as champion. I'm quite open to see what they can do with him. He hasn't really done a great deal.
Yeah, I think it'd be quite different because they're both members of the Blackpool Combat Club, aren't they?
Yeah.
I saw one idea, and I don't know if I like it or not, of having him turn heel during a match like he did against AJ Styles that time. Just like kick Moxley in the nuts and win that way, and turn heel and win the championship at the same time. I don't know if they're going to go down that route though. I think they're going to kind of make it like a warring faction within the Blackpool, because I think the Blackpool Combat Club have got too much stock, and obviously they've got their own version of WarGames, and you would assume that they were the natural teams to go in there the next time Blood and Guts rolls around. So hopefully they don't do that. But I do think it's pretty much guaranteed that Regal will be presenting the belt to the winner, whoever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I will be watching it.
Yeah,
probably not live, but I will be watching it. So I am quite interested. I think they'll have a good match together. Have we seen Moxley and Danielson? Obviously not in AEW.
I feel like it must have happened in WWE, but I can't think of any. I can't think of any main event ones. I'm sure when it was Team Hell No and the Shield feuding, it must have happened. It'll probably happen like a throwaway match on SmackDown or something.
Yeah.
Let's just give that a quick Google. Also on the card. So good.
I was just saying, these are the type of matches we want to see. Your dream matches that haven't happened in WWE before.
Yeah, that's it. If you've got two former WWE guys, then I think you want to kind of make it where it's the matches that we haven't seen before. They did face each other on this is classic WWE. Raw, October 21st, 2013. And then Raw, September 9th, 2013. SmackDown in, when was this? May 10th, 2013.
Okay, so it's been about 8 years.
Yeah, so it's been a while, and again, they were all on TV. I don't think it's ever been a big, because when Moxley or Ambrose at the time got to the main event scene, I think it was when Daniel Bryan was GM of SmackDown. They had that great scene with Dean Ambrose dressed as the Mountie for. I think there was no reason. I think that was a joke. Daniel Bryan cracked up live on TV when it happened. But yeah, so I think it feels like a first time. We've certainly not seen Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley. Obviously, we've seen Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
I'd say Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson are very similar, but I think John Moxley and Dean Ambrose are not. It's fair to say. Also, an interesting match on AEW Grand Slam. I'm not sure if it's on the Dynamite or Rampage portion, but Chris Jericho is challenging Claudia, formerly known as Cesaro, for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Yeah, so the Ring of Honor title is the only title he's kind of not won, but he's not won the TNA title.
I was just saying, no love for ECW either. I thought when he said that. I love how he counted WWF and WWE separate as well, but I guess he has won them both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on Dynamite, which is the live show. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah, I think it will. Do you think they'll put the belt on Jericho? I think
I think it would be a good idea, because just think how many eyes you're gonna have on Ring of Honor's product.
Yeah, you could put the rematch on the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view. It didn't sell a lot, did it, compared to AEW?
No.
I think it did compared to Ring of Honor, but not compared to AEW. So yeah, why not? While they don't have a TV deal, and you've got the belt on Dynamite every week, yeah, why not just put it on Jericho? I think I agree, and then it gives you, as you said, a big selling point.
He's one of
the next pay-per-view.
He's one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world. Has been for probably the past 20 years.
Yeah,
he has got a big following, and he can still put on good matches.
Yeah,
he doesn't show any signs of slowing down at this moment in time. I mean, he's got himself in a great shape in comparison to what we saw him in during lockdown
a few years ago. Yeah, I know when it was the famous show when he was on after the NBA, and all these basketball fans were just clowning on him. But yeah, I think it'd be good, and I think because of his whole sports entertainer gimmick, at the moment, I think it's a good heel heat against a pure wrestler like Claudia. And also, if you get to, I don't know where kind of Ring of Honor's traditional home base was, but if you get in a small venue with rabid Ring of Honor fans who were there from the previous run, surely they've got the details on Honor Club or something. You could have a John Cena ECW one night stand situation where the crowd is just rabid, Claudia or whoever it is who's challenging for it. Could be another kind of Ring of Honor original. Just you've got to get the belt off this guy. We need it back in the hands of a he refuses to sign, he refuses to shake hands.
Yeah.
All that classic good stuff, and then it's kind of a rabid crowd trying to get the wrestling belt off the sports entertainer.
Yeah. We all know Jericho is probably in the top 3 heels currently.
Yeah.
I mean, him, Reigns, MGF, maybe.
His returns fell a bit flat, hasn't it? But I'm willing to give it a time.
I
think obviously real life overshadowed.
I would like to see Omega back as a heel. I think he's better as a heel than he is a face.
Yeah. I've not written it down on the news, but have you seen his bite mark?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. After 2 weeks, it's still showing.
Yeah. How deep how sharp are Estil's teeth, allegedly?
I don't think got a rabies shot.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! I'm sure it wasn't the dog. Actually, I don't know if a dog would be possible to do that. But yeah, obviously I won't go through the full Grand Slam card. But interestingly, I suppose both shows are the same amount of time now, aren't they? But there's 5 shows for the live Dynamite portion, and then 8 on the Rampage portion, including Action Bronson making his in-ring debut, tagging with Hook. Wonder if he'll actually wrap them to the ring.
That's someone they've dropped the ball with massively. Hook, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he became a bit of a meme, didn't he? He became a bit not like Via Man, but that kind of...
Yeah, they kind of tagged him with Danhausen, and that didn't amount to anything. Why don't you just leave him on his own? And
yeah, I feel like that sort of thing where it was kind of a comedy wrestler with a serious wrestler, you needed to establish Hook a bit more. Like doing it now, I don't think it would affect him at all. But I think it was too early on when it made him look like a bit of a mid carder, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made him look more like no offense to the guy, but like a Steve Blackman rather than a Ken Shamrock. Yeah, just had a look at a picture of Action Bronson on it. How much does he look like a Ryan White? Look at that.
Yes, he does, doesn't he?
Absolutely uncanny. Shout out to Ryan if you're listening. Probably not. And shout out to Adam Holmes as well, regular listener or not, who logged into his Twitter account for the first time in 8 years yesterday to tell me to fuck off. Sure, it was meant in jest. But yeah, classic. Well, I need to get back to my news. Bit more minor news then at the moment. Obviously, wish him all the best. But Eric from the Viking Raiders is injured. I think this is a really disappointing one, just because Triple H got these guys and knew exactly what to do with them as War Raiders in NXT. I feel like these could have gone a really lengthy tag title run.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed this happened when it has, because anytime these guys seem to get momentum, one of them gets injured.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah, they've really had a really patchy run now, haven't they?
Yeah.
On the main roster, the only thing I can think of is I don't know what the injury is. They just said it's going to be an unspecified amount of time, which doesn't sound good. Indefinitely.
Something to do with his ankle, I believe.
Yeah, so it could be a long time, but I do hope if they come back, they can kind of come back as more of the War Raiders, drop a bit more of the. I don't mind the Viking stuff because obviously it's kind of part of the heritage, or part of Ro's heritage, isn't it? I can't remember which one Ro is now. Is he Eric? Whatever. The bald fella.
Yeah.
But it's. I know it's part of his heritage and that, but I preferred it when they were just kind of kicking ass. Like I don't know if you saw him at any of the WCPW shows, but when he used to start every match by going, "This match will be under War Machine rules, and that means there are no rules." And every match was a tornado, no DQ, false count anywhere match, and it was fantastic stuff. I saw him against Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal because Jay Briscoe was injured. In Leeds Auto Academy of all places. Fantastic match. We saw a bit of that NXT. We've probably not seen a lot of it on the main roster now, but I feel like Triple H is gonna beef up the tag division.
I really hope so.
The main players in it.
I think that's the weak link now, because he's built up the secondary titles, and the Intercontinental US titles have probably got more light on them than they've had in probably the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, we're getting big prominent singles matches with them for the first time in ages, that way. I was watching a couple of Holly videos today, and we'll cover it in our main show this week of the we're going to rank all of the Intercontinental Championship champions in the WrestleMania era that we had got to add. But yeah, like Shinsuke Nakamura, like 3 years ago, held the belt for 200 days. I couldn't tell you a single match.
You didn't have any
that happened during the time.
Yeah, he didn't have any.
Or even a single promo or appearance or anything. Yeah, he just didn't do anything. Whereas, like 1 month with Triple H, we've had a 5-star classic already with more to come.
Yeah.
Speaking of like possible future Intercontinental Championships, I hope everyone's appreciating my segues today. It looks like a popular WWE superstar has been released, and that is Ezekiel. But the good news is that it looks like he got injured. It looks like he's been released, Ezekiel, but it looks like his brother Elias potentially on the way back. I have thoughts on Elias replacing Ezekiel on the Raw roster.
Gutted. I was fully Ezekiel's biggest fan.
Yeah, I feel like this may have been Triple H's first mistake. I thought his storyline generally had legs.
What I am hoping for now is Elias comes back. Once he's grown a beard, obviously.
Yep.
And then Rick Boogs gets cleared, and we can get a tag team out of him.
Yes.
Just think how good of a tag team they could be.
Yes, they could. Yeah, they could be like some sort of like I was gonna say like
band,
modern day Jeff Jarrett and Roddy.
Yeah,
you could do. I should have figured out loud now. You could have like Boogs being like Elias is like apprentice or something, and he's like, "I'll show the road as being a rock star," and then
because
shines and turns on him. Yeah,
because obviously they won't put Rick Boogs back with Shinsuke when he comes when he returns because Shinsuke has been rumored to be going into a main event picture.
Yeah, that'll be good. I want to see Triple H do something with Shinsuke.
Well, obviously Rick Boogs, I mean, injured at WrestleMania. They're expecting him to be out 6 to 8 months. So you're coming up to that point now where he's going to be getting cleared.
Yeah.
Put him into a tag team picture. Build up your tag team division as we've just been saying.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good to see those two as a tag team. And I think the thing with Elias is like he was a gimmick that was suited to like live crowds. And I always found it weird how they stuck with him all the way through the live crowds as Elias. It wasn't really landing in the Thunderdome. And then as soon as the live crowds came back, he suddenly was off TV and he became Ezekiel. Because I remember I think he made a comment about Seattle Supersonics leaving the city or something. It was and it was just the heat. Like it's one of my favorite promos of all time. Just because you cannot hear a word that him or Kevin Owens are saying. Because they just blew him out the building for 5 minutes straight. And I've never seen like legitimate heat like that. It was fantastic. And at the time they couldn't really roll with it because they were kind of all scripted. So it'd be good to see what he could do now when he's a bit like the shackles are off a bit and is in front of a live crowd. You can have Boogs stood there like looking awkward, thinking, "Oh, I like these people" or something, and going on that way. And eventually they turn each other, but it'd be good as like some sort of band and bring back Heath Slater. Why not? As the front man.
Where's he working? Is he still Impact?
I believe so. Yeah, let's just Google Heath Slater. There is that fellow who signed, whose last name is the same as Heath Slater's real name. Don't think they are related though. Heath Miller is now. I just know it's Heath. There's a fellow who looks just like him who just signed. But yeah, he's in Impact at the moment. He was out for nearly a year, but he's back now.
Right.
And then we've got one more story left, but I've actually remembered another one. So because talking about Shinsuke Nakamura reminded me of it. NXT 2.0 is over. They had an NXT 2.0 anniversary show last week. They flashed up a graphic at the end of the colored graphic, and then it went like there's like a loading thing. The 2.0 disappeared. The shape stayed the same, but it went to white and gold. And according to reports on the scene, the NXT crowd shouted black and gold for 5 minutes straight. Once it went off, but I feel like with Triple H replacing Vince McMahon as chief content officer, I think his new name is.
Yes.
This was bound to happen, right?
Oh yeah, and I mean, from the reports I've seen, it's going to be a mashup of both Black and Gold and 2.0.
Yeah.
So you're going to be getting the return of the indie wrestlers.
Yeah.
Which for me needed to happen. They focused too much on the sports stars and they weren't really going anywhere with them. I'm just looking forward to banging matches again.
Yeah, same. I think like they need to go. I was going to say like back in like WCW, like a reverse of WCW, where like the main events were you could have like really good main events. But I'm thinking more like back when it was like Brooklyn 2015, when NXT was first getting hot, because you had like amazing that pay-per-view in particular. You had your main event of like Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match, just two indie wrestlers. You'd kind of been doing it for years. But then further down the card, you had Bayley versus Sasha Banks, two newer wrestlers. You had like people like Enzo and Cass on the show. I think Jushin Liger just made like a guest appearance. So it was kind of a mix of developmental and like indie wrestling. Whereas I think towards the end of the Gargano and Ciampa area, because they kept Gargano and Ciampa in the NXT for probably too long, to be honest. Like it suddenly became more about them and just kind of the same wrestlers over and over again, which is what developmental shouldn't be. But yeah, I like the idea of kind of mixing the two together. So you've got like your main event scene of your indie wrestlers and your people like your Braun Breaker. There's no point in dropping Braun Breaker down the card. Like he's gonna stay there now and come to the main roster. But yeah, on top of that, having kind of you kind of I guess like Gable Stevenson's gonna go somewhere eventually, and his brother and those types of people.
Is he though? Apparently Triple H he's not.
Well, he doesn't like
him at all.
He doesn't like he cares that much, Howard, is it? To be honest, because I don't think he's going to be the next. I don't know. Will we just not see him at all?
I don't think he'll come.
It's gone very quiet, but then I guess Kurt Angle did take about a year or two to learn in developmental before he came. He won his medal in '96 and debuted in like '99.
Yeah.
So don't know. Still time. Gable Stevenson, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of Kurt Angle, announced on his podcast this week that he's suffering with memory issues.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, from his, I think he suffered 5 concussions over his career.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, he's only in his early 50s.
Yeah.
To be having memory issues is quite concerning. So, well wishes to Kurt Angle, one of the greatest of all time.
Definitely one of the greatest of all time. And yeah, all the best to Kurt Angle. Yeah, he is 53. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
not old, and to be struggling with your having mental issues, as I suppose is the best way to put it at that age is not good.
Yeah. So yeah, all the best to Kurt Angle.
I mean, just back to NXT. I'd like to just see it being treated as a third brand, personally.
Yeah.
Not a place just for your developmental. I mean, send some of your guys from the, if we want to say the main rosters. When they've not got anything going on the Raw SmackDown, just send them down there for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's
just
what
use
got me
it as a
thinking
third
about
brand.
It. Yeah, that's why I kind of thought about the story basically when we talked about Nakamura. He'd be perfect for that, right? He'd be
oh yeah.
He's not doing anything at the moment. Like, it's obvious Triple H will want to do something with him, I'm sure. But while he's kind of waiting for a spot on the roster and something to happen, why not just kind of have a, even if he just goes down for 1 week and has a title match with Bron Breakker,
yeah,
something like that. I mean, we saw Ricochet do it on the last takeover, the Wells Collide event when he had his match with Carmelo Hayes.
Great thing to do would be put Natalia down there. I hate Natalia with a passion. However, she's safe hands and she is very good at guiding the younger talent.
Yeah.
Put her down there for a few months or permanently.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do what did with Randy Rose, but with someone who can wrestle. That was harsh.
Because then realistically, you can bring Mandy Rose back up because the time's right now. For me,
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of swapping they could do. To be honest, with and this is like no offense to some women on the main roster, but there's a lot of people who shouldn't kind of be there on the wrestling ability. Like, I think, very glad Ross isn't here, but like Sonya Deville is one who could just do with, like, she's not wrestled for that long, but she could probably do like consistently wrestling.
Yeah.
On these smaller house shows as well. That's the other thing as well. It's like not just NXT the show, but you've got the coconut loop or whatever it is they call it when they just tour around like North Florida. Yeah, having them on shows like Aaliyah. I know she's in NXT for like 6 years or whatever it was, but they could do at least 6 more. That's really hard.
Dominic Mysterio, put him down there.
Yeah, there's blogs like that as well, isn't there? Really, there is. Omos is another one who jumps to mind immediately. Like,
I think he'll be gone, if I'm honest. He's not what Triple H looks for in a wrestler.
No, the only thing I could think is like he could become like a Great Khali type wrestler, but even Great Khali was only great in that one match against Cena that time. But yeah. I think you do need your special attractions. Like, what I mean? Like, Andre the Giant was never going to win any kind of in-ring worker awards, but
just what the way they originally used him as just a bodyguard. It's the perfect role for him.
Yeah,
you just need someone who's good on the mic. Look at Christian and Tomko. That was that worked well for them both because Christian's one of the greatest of all time on the mic, and Tomko is just a big beefy guy.
Yeah, that's it. Just use him to accessorize another small heel, really.
Yeah.
I was going to say something like Logan Paul, but Logan Paul probably doesn't need him. This would be a waste. But that type of wrestler, that type of heel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then our final story on this news show, obviously there was no Twitch wrestling this week. It may return this week. We'll figure that out. Someone's returning, something's happening. If you're a fan of Jefferson Starship, I've got to say I'm not, but I do know they got a lot of wrestling connections recently because they also do Orange Cassidy's theme, I believe, in AEW. But WWE have been playing White Rabbit by Jefferson Starship, which I'll give a listen to. It's a bit of a creepy song. and turning all the lights red in arenas. Curiously, not on TV, but they did it on the SmackDown taping on Friday night, and they've done it on the Saturday night, Saturday and Sunday shows. Saturday night's main event and Sunday Stunner. This week, it's kind of like they're trying to go viral. Is Bray Wyatt coming back? Apparently, when it goes like "Remember Me," it flashes red, which is very fiendish.
Could be, but I'm here to ruin those rumors.
Are you going to tell us about Mr. Cross?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So White Rabbit was what Karrion Kross was known as in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Someone's tweeted Kross saying, "What is this White Rabbit?" Kross has then responded to that saying, "Flattered to be remembered for that. Keep watching, assume nothing."
Yeah.
So is he saying, "Don't assume it's to do with me"? I tell you what, I would not. I tell you what, I would quite like, because they're quite similar characters. Is he alluding to it could be something to do with Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt's going to team up with Kross.
Possibly, because I was thinking if it was Kross, what's the point? Basically, it's like he's already there and he's returned, hasn't he? And he's kind of got his old gimmick back already.
Yeah,
maybe a bit confusing to do that again. But yeah, I think I don't think Bray Wyatt's going to come back as Bray Wyatt.
No,
the cult leader. I also don't think he's going to come back as the Fiend. Like, I think he's going to come back with like either a mashup of the two or something a bit different again.
Yeah.
Apparently, his kind of costume designers tweeted something, and it's an even scarier mask than the Fiend.
Right.
But I feel like he'll want to do something different. He'll probably do whatever Vince wouldn't let him do. I would assume is the way they're going with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know talks keep breaking down. Apparently, according to sources, he was on 4 million prior to being let go. And the rumors are that he's asking for that again. And WWE
makes
can't.
Sense.
I mean, apparently WWE kind of not sure that they can afford to pay him that. That's from what I've heard. And Bray Wyatt's being quite, just saying that's what I want.
He probably doesn't need the money. I assume you wouldn't need the money for a while if he previously was on 4 million. Yeah, but that's the other thing as well about the releases that we've probably all forgotten or not really thought of is that it was obviously like, Nick Khan's name was heavily reported when these were happening. They can't have all. I know Bray Wyatt's was very separate on its own and probably wasn't budget cuts, even though that was the official reason given. But there must have been some sort of reason why it suddenly happened so quickly. Like there must have been some sort of financial motivation for him to do it as well.
Yeah.
With some of the names they released. So yeah, maybe that is an option because obviously Triple H is just the chief content officer. He's not the CEO, is he?
Yeah.
Nick Council holds the purse strings.
I mean, you can rest assured he's not going to be going anywhere like Impact or AEW. If he was going to go there, he'd already be there.
Yeah, he'd already be there. I think the most interesting one is he's got this offer from a new company, which I believe
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Because apparently they worked together as well.
Yeah.
Previously.
I'm sure, I can't remember who said it, so I'm going to completely misquote someone or misattribute someone, but I believe it was Alvarez said he's already signed something, but if they think that it's very similar to Strowman's deal that control your narrative that he could get out of it if he needed to.
Right.
And that's the other thing, right? So conspiracy tinfoil hats on now. Braun Strowman is wearing red pants. These lights are flashing red. Is he in a faction as well? Is the next we're going to see Eric Rowan?
I would like to see it again.
Yeah.
I mean, you've automatically got a faction there. You've got the Bright White family. Bring Killer Cross across into that. You've got a 4-man faction already plus Scarlet.
Yeah, and what do you do with
You could even bring Alexa back into it. She's not happy with creative currently. So
no, she says her own personality is boring and she needs a gimmick. I saw. But do we have too many spooky dudes? Because we've got Judgment Day as well.
I think Judgment Day's numbered.
Yeah.
I can't see them being around come WrestleMania.
No, the only thing
I'd be surprised if they are, but
have Bray kind of lure someone across, like probably Damian Priest, because I don't think Dom Mysterio's got much upside in that.
No.
I didn't just have Finn Balor just do what Edge did. Edge was like, right, I've been kicked out the spooky dude, so I'm just going to go back to how I was. You could easily have Finn Balor do the same and not lose anything.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like they've won one match, I think.
No, they keep losing. I thought about that the other day. They keep losing their the pay-per-view matches early, and then something's happening in turn of style. I mean, you've got to assume they're going to win the next one, whoever that's against.
Yeah, you'd like to think.
It looks like it'd be a singles match between someone and Ray, doesn't it? I think. Oh no, guess they've written Edge off now, haven't they?
Yeah, Edge is written off TV for the foreseeable.
Yeah, he'll be coming back at the Rumble. I reckon.
Yeah.
Or just before them. But yeah, interesting stuff. Right. I said we were going to go 45 minutes of the news. We've gone nearly an hour. So we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Wild Class Wrestling journalist Aaron Franklin, for joining us.
Not a problem.
Do we do the Twitter handles on this show? I can't remember now. So where can we find you?
On Twitter, FranklinStein91. Where I sometimes tweet, sometimes don't. Just follow me. Don't miss out on them.
Excellent stuff. And you can find me at Lou Markham. And you can find us all at twitter.com. Twitch.tv, twitter.com/wrestlearound, instagram.com/wrestlearound. We will be exciting news. Hopefully from not next week, but the week after. The thumbnails should be back. So the Instagram account will actually get used, which I think we're all really excited about. And you can possibly find us on twitch.tv/wrestlearound. Keep an eye out. Streams have been intermittent. Real life is very much getting in the way at the moment of the Twitch wars. And what's going to happen to Snakeskin series now? I guess it might have to be Snakeskin series WarGames, which we didn't plan for. So
that's can't
do
that. Can't do it on there.
No, but I guess that's the one benefit actually from them going to the main roster is that they've got to be on the games, right? Probably not the next one, but the one after.
Yeah,
I mean, 2K24.
I know. I saw somewhere rumored that they're going to try and bring out 2K23 prior for the end of the year, but can't see that happening personally.
No, 2-in-1. Is it 2-in-1? Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
I think we're stuck with the WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just from my sake, someone who buys a lot of sports games, it's the one yearly game that doesn't come out in September, October time. So it's makes it a lot more affordable, I think, for it to go out in March and not clash with any sports season. So I'd be very much appreciative of that. That was a little tidbit. But join us on Wednesday, where myself and Aaron and Terry, if he gets back from his holiday, I guess he's already back, and he probably won't be here. Join us for a tier list of all the Intercontinental Champions from WrestleMania 1 to the present day. Thank you very much, Aaron, and see you soon.
See you soon.